focused on addressing issues of inequity. And I wanted to thank all of our participants for joining our workshop out of all the ones that the Santa Clara Department of Education had available for you guys today. And I'm really excited about the opportunity of sharing all the good work we've been doing here at Amigos de Guadalupe during the pandemic. My name is Adria Colomer, and I am the Education Manager. And I will start off with a brief history of Amigos and how we started. We started 8 years ago. Maritza Maldonado, she was the founder. We led with the Amigos Reader Leader program. It is an after-school program that's based in literacy. And we only had those education services available, but the needs of the community were overwhelming. I think I need my presentation at this point, but I'll go ahead and just keep with the background and history of the mission. Yeah. So our mission at Amigos de Guadalupe is to create the conditions for learning. And I think Margarita hit a lot of these points here, that I think most would agree that it's very difficult to learn when there's certain levels of instability, whether it be housing insecurity or food insecurity, or an absentee parent due to deportation or immigration issues. Our two-generational approach allows us to do just that. It allows us to address these inequities at each of its interconnected levels in which they exist, in a way that is holistic and in a way that honors our relational model of compañerismo or fellowship. And it's present throughout all of the services which we provide, which are, you would see on the screen, it's immigration, housing, education, and a number of resources. Our work here has always been about utilizing the resources available and leveraging those partnerships for family and student success. So when we were invited, I was really happy because I was like, this is going to be easy. We do this a lot. So when I hear we create the conditions for learning, I often think about my first Psychology 101 course in college, right? Specifically on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And here at Amigos, we meet those most basic physiological needs, right, with our housing support and resources. But because of our partnerships, we also are able to meet a lot of the psychological needs of belonging. And we do that through our many internship opportunities, scholarships to minorities and low-income students, counseling throughout our many programs, and the enrichment opportunities. So, okay.
Adria, I'm thinking if you share the link with me in the chat box, I can share my screen. Yes.
Perfect.
Adria, I think you can try again, because the settings are for anyone can share.
Oh, okay, I see it. Perfect. Okay.
Okay, so John might have just updated to allow. Okay, perfect.
Yes. Yay.
Yay.
All right. Okay, I've already downloaded. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so here's a little visual that's supposed to help you see all the different services that we provide and the why. Also, here we go. So I'm sure you're wondering, tell us about what you did during the pandemic, right? All right, 2 weeks into the global pandemic, and we know educators were scrambling and trying to adjust to this new virtual learning, these new virtual learning spaces. The way that Amigos prepared the initial, it was, you know, we made a lot of mistakes, but I think all in all, it was fun, and it gave us the opportunity to really check in on the family's well-being, which is the most important, right? Just giving good experiences overall. Everyone experiences transition very differently, and for some families, working and schooling remotely were very feasible, right? But for others, that meant losing income, lacking Wi-Fi connectivity, and the level of uncertainty made a lot of people anxious. So this is what we did. First, I'll show you a little video. I know during these first 3 weeks, my son was watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I was like, hey, what a great idea. How about connecting the virtual classroom through these YouTube video or how to, and I'll show this to you. Okay, so so of course, Amigos, we wanted to provide an online program with the intent of making sure our families were taken care of. First thing we did was call all of the families to make sure that first they were okay, and that all students had their hotspots and devices, or they knew how to get that from the schools. Some families, they weren't aware that they were being provided with hotspots and devices, and some families lacked the language skills to really be able to advocate for themselves. And then we created a 5-week educational kit, and all the students received the same exact materials, and it was free of charge. We delivered those kits. They had a fiesta theme, because fiestas are happy, and some of the students in the program had birthdays, and it was kind of a sad time to have a birthday because everyone was at home. So that was the idea behind it. In the highlights of these educational kits, were the piñata kits. So they all were able to make a little piñata, so there's a bit of arts. They made a birthday cake, and they had the mix and decorations, and we were able to explore cultural differences and the history of piñatas, right? And also speaking about the different ways to say straw in Spanish, because there are many different ways to say that. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So these lessons expose the students to technology, the measurement systems, history, chemical reactions, structural principles, creativity, and cultural differences. So, and what was really neat about it is that they all had the same materials, and in some way, they were connected, right? So let's see. And I guess that was pretty neat for everyone to see their peers online as well. Okay, next slide. Here we go. So this was probably my favorite and like the highlight of all of our educational pandemic experiences. Let's go back, sorry. Okay, so the summer, rolled around and I was ready to get out in the sun, and I was tired of being cooped up, just like I know a lot of our students were. And during the summer, Amigos usually runs our Summer Under the Sun program, where we provide a fun, safe environment for youth between school terms. All right, this year's theme had to be relevant, robust, and because of COVID, also feasible, right? A lot of the expenses from our budget were geared towards making it a safe environment, whether it be, the cleaning supplies, the gloves, the mask, whatever it is, we had to make room for that. So we took the classroom outdoors. The thematic programming, We Are Growing Voters, focused on introducing math, English, history, and science concepts through the lenses of civic engagement. So, all right, Amigos designed and implemented the program, and thanks to our partnership with Vegelution, we were able to use their urban gardening space to put theory into practice, I guess. So thank you, Vegelution. All right, so this is what we're working on currently. Everything that we have done in the past and all the mistakes that we've made in the past, everything that we've learned has helped us with this fall's in remote learning, right? And trying to organize and plan around that with everything that we've learned. So through our partnerships, we have granted several high school students from several schools with internship opportunities, all right? And some of the interns help out during the instructional day in the breakout rooms, so that students are getting more individualized support. So for instance, that's a student in their normal remote learning day classes, but they'll have 2 to 3 interns in those rooms where the instructor is able to separate into breakout rooms, just like we have now for the workshops, and maybe just with 2 or 3 students be able to cover the content of the lesson in a more individualized way. And some of our other interns provide after-school tutoring. Currently, this tutoring support is only offered through one of our partnerships with a middle school, but beginning next week, we will be expanding that and having that support offered to any student in the district. Okay, currently we only have, okay, I just said that. Everything we do at Amigos is viewed through our equity lens, and for some students and families, that means having in-person support, right? So that's a big thing that we're advocating for. Our in-person support currently is geared for the newcomers group. Newcomers come with a complicated level of needs. Some of them have had formal education in their home countries. Some of them have not. Some of them are really good with technology. Some of them are not. And it's really hard to run a newcomers program online when you have, communication issues, right? And there's a lag in that communication. Students aren't able to fill in the blanks, especially when it's in a language that they don't understand. So we advocate for in-person support for special needs, right? Like the newcomers. So we've, through our partnerships, we have a care pod, which is composed of no more than 12 students. Care pods model benefits students with special instructional needs. For instance, we give in-person support, technical support, enrichment activities, social emotional counseling, and of course, it's focused on the newcomers program. Okay, and then, so I've created this sort of general model, right? So how can educators capitalize on the assets and resources available in the community? And it's based on what we've learned, right? So starting out with enrichment, there's plenty of organizations and agencies that are currently offering online drama classes, dance lessons, right? Tutoring, language support, whatever it may be. I would look into those services and think about how you could leverage those partnerships. Also, if you're thinking about in-person support and you feel more comfortable doing it in the outdoor setting, this is great for students that are gifted, right? That benefit from STEAM project-based learning type of environments, and your big concern is safety. The other in-person support kind of model that I think our care pods really are geared towards are the special needs learning labs, because you're able to offer them modifications in an inclusive environment, accommodations, assistive technology, and related services in the least restricted environment, right? So right now we're currently working with newcomers, which is not specifically like a special needs, but I would consider them a special needs under these circumstances, because it's difficult to learn English online. So let's see. And I guess that is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. I would love to hear any comments or feedback and questions. Let me get out of here. Stop sharing. Okay.
All right, thank you very much for the two presenters. So I'm wondering, we have a few minutes for questions. So are there any questions from the audience? So
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I work at the Franklin McKinley School District, and if we wanted to sort of have partnerships with either SOMOS or Amigos de Guadalupe, how do we go about working with this, bringing this to our community?
So we actually, it depends, right? But we do collaborate with Franklin McKinley already in some ways through the UAP program specifically. SOMOS is one of the partners involved in that, along with Alum Rock and the Franklin McKinley School District.
Yeah, we do have the UAP program. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you could repeat your question, I apologize, I've been having computer issues.
I just wanted to know, how do we go about in my school reaching out to you guys? But then Margarita explained that we're already working with the Universal Access Program.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's how we reach out to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and of course I'll reiterate, we have tutoring spots available if any of the students need any one-on-one tutoring.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. As for teachers, it was a great presentation, but it's not part of my responsibilities inside the district. So I was wondering if there's any way to get the slides somehow, and then I think I can share that to some of the teachers, because I think none of us are teachers. I mean, I love to teach. I used to be a teacher in my own country, but I cannot implement these kind of things that you mentioned. Thanks so much for sharing, Adria. And I love your pronunciation in Spanish, by the way. So there's any way that we can get this, and maybe we can share with some teachers in our school district? I will appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I would be happy to share it. I don't know what your name is. Is it Prado? But I would be happy to share it, share my presentation with you, yes.
I think, give me just 1 second. What is it, the chat? Okay. I'm going to put my email right here in the chat in order that you can have my email. Yeah. And yes, it's Prado. Thank you.
Okay.
Or I'm just wondering, would it be possible for you to put your link in the chat box so then we can all access your presentation?
I would love to. I can work on that after questions and answers or during questions and answers because I'm on a new device and I don't have it saved onto this one, but yeah.
All right, great, thank you.
And I'll drop my presentation in the chat box.
Thank you, Margarita.
And then I can also add my contact information in case, you know, you have any further questions, or I know, you know, you asked about specifically partnering with Franklin McKinley. If you have any specific questions as to, you know, what you'd like to see, I'll drop my contact information in there.
We do have a couple of minutes, so I was hoping I could ask the presenters, is it for a specific grade range? Is it K through 8, your support on both the organizations? Is it K through 12? Can you mention about that?
Sure. Right now, the care pods are for middle school students. The tutoring, the online tutoring support is for any age range. And then the internships that we offer, which we consider also a benefit of our program, is for high school students.
As a comment, thanks so much. Also, Ms. Arroyo, I used to work as a reporter and Telemundo news producer, and I saw Mayfair way back last century, to be honest. And it's amazing what I'm seeing now. I used to cover a lot in the Mayfair. Just was to be part of the Cesar Chavez committee and all that stuff before the beautiful community you have now, the community center you have now. I covered when they started, the finish and all that. So it's beautiful that seeing all this progress in that community. So thanks so much for sharing. I think I need to go back and see it live and then.
Definitely come visit, and we can do a community walkthrough. We have Mayfair tours now, and so, you know, you can stop by and say hello to Amigos de Guadalupe as well. And then for age groups for us, so we do have programming now outside of the school year, but our focus is with parent engagement. And so there is no age group. If they're parents, if they're caretakers, if they're grandparents, anyone is welcome. Yeah, we have some programs geared towards children 0 to 5, but parents are always welcome.
Well, thank you. That's wonderful to know. Yeah, you can see we're from the 6th District PTA, so we have a lot of common ground there. So that would be wonderful. So I'd like to take a moment to thank you all for joining this presentation. As you can see, we have a survey link posted in the chat. So I'd like to please request all of you to take a moment to fill in the survey. Please let us know if you have any issues accessing the survey form.
I click on it, but it says invalid or something. Invalid dynamic link. Should I need to copy and paste?
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Do I need to copy and paste?
I'm sorry about that. Let me check. Also, Adria, I'm not sure if you were trying to say something, but you were muted.
No. No, even when I copy and paste, it did not work.
Yeah,
I was. Thank you. Yeah, I was just saying, if anybody else wants the presentation, I'll be happy to email it to them because I can't get the link for it right now. You can just put it and I'll make sure to email it to you.
Does this work?
Thank you.
Yes, that link worked. Thank you.
Sure thing.
Thank you, Ms. Gupta is working now.
Thank you. So just a heads up, as you saw, there was a message that flashed giving us a 5 minutes heads up. So we will be teleported in 5 minutes back to the main room.